Motorsport Park, and watch for the good start coming from the centre of the track from number 5, and that is Nick Cole. You're on board here with Scott Moyer as they head down into turn number 1. Oh, a little bit of pushing and shuffling going on there between Nick Cole and Lyndon McGee by the look of it on the M1 Motorsport BMW, but it's Moyer out in the front. He's gone round the outside of Ryan Hampton to lead it. So Scott Moyer, the local, done lots of laps around here, both on his Formula 3 Superlight bike and also on his Honda Superbike in seasons gone by. You're looking at the back of his bike, focusing in on Ryan Hampton. Nick Cole still nursing some bruising and some abrasions from a crash in race number 1. And more than anything, nursing the fact that he dropped 25 valuable points in that race 1 crash in yesterday's proceedings. There is Sloane Frost now coming back to his best after the big crash at Wanganui. You're on board here with the points leader. This is Dennis Charlotte. Now, Charlotte doesn't need to lead these races. Here is the onboard situation again. Watch number 41. That's Jaden Hassan on the Superbike. First time on the big machines, and he just seemed to run into the back of Dennis Charlotte, and that shuffled the field behind this man, Scott Moyer. Moyer, ex-motocrosser, that's where he gets his aggression from, working his way through the Hauraki chase now. Nick Cole through into second place, and then there's a little bit of a traffic jam. Ryan Hampton at the front of the field there. So too number 77, James Smith. James Smith virtually had to be helped to his machine after a big crash on the Saturday program here at Taupo, so he is in all sorts of bother. On board here with Sloane Frost. This is Lyndon McGee, sitting in behind him in second place on the BMW M1 Motorsport. Oh, gets a little bit taily, and then the high side, and down goes the Australian. And look at the bike. How lucky were the rest of the competitors that the bike didn't skittle them as Lyndon McGee races back to his machine. Here it is on the replay. Just got on one of the dirty lines here at Taupo coming out of turn number 2. Back on board here with Charlotte. He's sitting in 5th place at the moment. Really doesn't have to do too much. Had a big points lead going in. Moyer it is, continues to lead us. He comes into the Hauraki chase once again. The back of the bike steps out, hard under braking for the man from Taupo. Scott Moyer getting some assistance from Glenn Williams, ex-Superlight or Formula 3 champion. On board here with Tony Rees, the veteran, and just going past him there, that's Hayden Fitzgerald from Taranaki, bike number 6. The Ozone Coffee Danavic Suzuki sponsored machine. Rees in hot pursuit now, so they've wound back the clock a few years to when they battled it out on Superbikes before Tony went into premature retirement. You're on board here with the Honda New Zealand Insurance's number 11. That's Tony Rees. Right in behind him, Ryan Hampton. Then it is Craig Sheriff. Well, Craig Sheriff has had a terrible time in the beginning rounds of the championship. In fact, if his opening rounds were a fish, he would have thrown them back. This battle for 5th, 6th and 7th place. Hayden Fitzgerald leading on the Suzuki, then it's Rees, then it's Ryan Hampton from Christchurch on the Hampton Honda, just sitting in behind him, Craig Sheriffs. You're back on board here with Tony Rees, getting a little bit closer now to Hayden Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald riding 2 classes in the Superbike Road Racing Championships for 2014. He is leading the Superlight Championship, but just struggling a little bit in Superbikes. Rees takes a position back through the Hauraki chase. There is Hayden Fitzgerald. There is 41. This is Jaden Hassan of Auckland on the Motul Oils sponsored Suzuki. This is a great comeback because after the incident in the first turn, Hassan was back in last place. So he's cut his way through the field here. This battle on your screen, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, 9th with Sheriff just coming onto the back of it as well. Back on board here with Rees, one of the fastest parts of the circuit. Heading down into turn number 6 now. Here comes the pass down the inside of Hayden Fitzgerald. So Jaden Hassan on the move here. Amazing performance when you consider that this is his first year on the big bikes, on the Superbike machines. Down the back straight they come. This is Tony Rees, and that is Jaden Hassan going past us now. They're hard under brakes for the Hauraki chase. Meantime, this man, a lonely old race in 4th place. This is the champion-elect, if you like. He came into this round with a 20-point advantage. This is Christchurch's Dennis Charlotte on the underground brown Avon City Suzuki, Suzuki New Zealand GSR XR 1000. Nick Cole through in 2nd place, and then this battle continues just in behind them. Back on board here with Tony Rees. And it's interesting to note that Jaden Hassan, while he's got past, he hasn't been able to get away from that bunch. We go back to the front of the field. 87, Scott Moyer from Taupo. Down onto the pit straight he comes once again. You're on board with him here looking out the front of the machine. So Scott carrying 2 of our onboard cameras, one looking back, one looking forward. Into turn 1 he goes now. Let's have a look as the revs pick up there. There is Nick Cole in 2nd place, just about to put a lap on James Smith. Well, we said that Smith was struggling with an injury. And he tells me that he can't use his legs, so it all comes down to the control of the Superbike with his arms. And he said, and after about 5 or 6 laps, he gets tired. We're back on board with this enthralling battle, 5th and 6th. Jaden Hassan up in front on the Suzuki, through the big sweeper at the top end of the circuit. Tony Rees right in behind him on bike number 11. There is Sloane Frost. Now, he's currently sitting in 3rd place. And that's a little bit of no man's land for Sloane because he's not quite far enough up to challenge Nick Cole. Just once again, we go back to this 4th and 5th battle. Jaden Hassan out of Auckland on the Motul Suzuki. Tony Rees, the veteran, on the Honda Insurances CBR 1000R. They're onto the pit straight now as well. Back on board with Rees here. Big crowd hanging over the fences watching the Superbike race. This is the TT. Tony Rees getting a little bit closer in number 1. That's where it all went wrong for Jaden Hassan in lap number 1. Sloane Frost on the Red Baron Motorcycles Fujitsu machine. Meantime, you're back on board with the race leader, already starting to round up the lap traffic here. Down this long front straight at Taupo, they hit speeds well over 270, 280 kilometres an hour. And as he rakes his way down towards the checkered flag, there'll be none happier than Scott Moir. He's going to record a win here, probably the biggest of his career. He's going to win the TT. Perhaps there's one person more happy, and that's his father, Geordie. A victory wheel stand for Scott Moir. He wins the TT here on his home track. In 2nd place, Nick Cole. And this is the battle for 3rd. Dennis Charlotte has snuck right up on Sloane Frost. Is he going to be able to pick his pocket? Oh, it was pretty close. We might have to wait for the judge's decision there. Was it Charlotte or was it Frost? Here is Jaden Hassan from the back of the field to 4th, and in behind him, Tony Rees on the Honda. So, great racing here in the Superbikes, and they've given 3rd place to Sloane Frost.